Hello and welcome to another Warcraft 3 audio commentary. This is going to be a 1v1 game on the map Concealed Hill. It's going to be me playing a hero that I actually haven't used a ton of, or used very frequently, which is a little bit weird as it is the Blade Master, which was sort of long. For a while it was sort of a staple here, and probably still is a staple for the Orc race, at least in solo and stuff. So I think that Blade Master at least shines a little bit more in 1v1 than most of the other game types, though in 2v2 he was also pretty much the go-to for a long time. It perhaps still is, because you can, wind walk around, sneak up on people, get, sort of nice creep jacks. You can get a little bit of scouting done. If their base is open, right, you can sort of, get in there and cause some havoc. If they're trying to run, right, and then the sort of, I don't want to say, I guess it is arguably a chance element with the critical strikes. When those are going to land, they could potentially be very good or sort of meh. Right. So yeah, it's kind of hard to plan against critical strikes because they're just, it's sort of a random element to it. Not, it's a percentage chance, right? So it can, it's a little bit of a gambling game. If you're gonna, if you're trying to wait on a heal potion or something like that, you don't want to. You got to be very careful not to get too low and just get sort of catch random, 200 damage to the face. So anyways, this particular build that I just sort of come up with on a whim, right? But the basic premise is to get the altar and burrow started relatively quick. Put one peon on lumber quick enough so you can start the start the voodoo lounge before the altar finishes. That way, when the hero pops out, the voodoo lounge will be there. Sell the TP scroll, pick up a clarity and healing salve, and get moving over to the other side of the map. Some people will pick up a scroll, which can be potentially very good. I don't know what's the quote, meta version of this. I see a wisp over here. I'm going to chase it down. And you can see on this map, as with the case of a lot of maps, the opponent can really basically finish his camp. I mean, maybe if I just literally ran straight from my base, maybe even speed scrolled or, full wind walked all the way over there, I could show up, as he's finishing it. Maybe, I don't really think I don't think it's very likely or, even possible when this is done very cleanly that you can actually threaten to get any of these big kills. Maybe one of them, right? But very likely he'll just have it finished up. So really what you're aiming for is maybe going for this archer, maybe sneaking in the back and going for wisps, or juggling back and forth between those two options. Now, I decided to chase this wisp on the way to the shop to grab a Dust of Appearance. I noticed, notably, I didn't pick up a circlet. I probably should have. Honestly, the extra health and mana and damage is pretty nice at the cost. Again, I probably have the gold to do so at 200. Yeah, so I'm teching, I have 200 gold. I could throw that into the circlet, get an extra 2 damage on my attacks, an extra 50 hit points, and an extra 30 mana. So it's pretty crazy. I wind walk down here, and I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? I turn around, because it's about to be nighttime. I think about going for this archer, right? But, notably, what I actually should probably do, since his demon hunter is right beside his archer, just stay away from the mana burns, right? Just assume he has mana burn and not immolation. Just go for these wisps, right? As soon as, you start hitting the wisp, the cooldown starts. Yeah, you can juggle the wisp in and out of the gold mine. So that's what I didn't really want to happen. I didn't really want to, just have him juggle the wisp into the gold mine. But if you bring your grunt down here as well and have him attacking a wisp, right, it's going to sort of tax his attention, perhaps, right? If he's chasing this grunt up here, he should definitely, especially since he's already seen the Blade Master, he should say, okay, probably, where's that Blade Master going? Probably these juicy wisps down here. The grunt does more damage. Well, the wisps have medium armor too, right? So it's nice to be able to kill both of them quite quickly with a grunt. I do snipe the archer. I didn't have to use a charge of dust because it wasn't quite nighttime, and this was the idea, right? To sort of keep the dust, get the archer kill. He was right by the moonwell. He could have definitely healed him at either one of these probably, but he chose not to, or he misclicked or whatever he did. So maybe didn't expect my Blade Master to get that last shot. And now I'm just going to go for the wisp kills. He is in the middle of his tech. He has 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 wisps, 7 lumber wisps, which I'm going to do quite a lot of damage to his economy here. I actually think I get 2 more wisp kills. We'll see. I definitely get this one. I don't even think he detonates this. We'll see if he does or not. Okay, he does in fact detonate it. Doesn't really matter. I mean, the experience is nice, right? But just denying in the lumber is a big deal. Is really the goal here. So I'm gonna go for this wisp kill, and I do in fact kill this one. So he didn't detonate it. And I'm sending this grunt over here to hit this other wisp, and he moves it back. And I know that the grunt himself, right, he's much slower than the blade master. He doesn't have like any kind of ability to wind walk. Obviously, without mana, I can't do it either with the blade master. But I draw his hero away, going towards a heal fountain, which at night is going to be accessible. And I am going to get a cancel with my blade master on this hunter's haul. I had stuck around way too long there. I think I was doing something in my base. Yeah, building up some stuff. I built a war mill. I built a burrow. And I still am not exactly sure in terms of this particular point in the game what I'm going to choose to go for late game. The options basically in my head are double bestiary or double totem. Right, I've only built 1 grunt, so this is going to leave me in a bit of a. Honestly, if I would have just built like 1 or 2 more grunts and then went into raiders and spirit walkers, that's probably the play, because that way I can have some catch, as people call it, or some sort of ability to lock his units and heroes down, which will potentially prevent him from staffing for one thing, and it will make it prevent him from kiting, or make it much harder for him to kite. So anyways, he's gonna go ahead and creep here with the demon hunter. He's got a claws +5, a good item. I got, what did I get from? I haven't crept anything. I think I bought all this stuff, so not really any items from creeping for me just yet. He's gonna hit level 2. I'm gonna pick up an alchemist. This is again sort of a questionable decision. I don't know if Naga is like the go-to in this scenario, where if you're trying to keep pressure. I think the alchemist, honestly, maybe with chemical rage would have been right. I went acid bomb first, right? If I just have the Naga and I show up here, he probably has to run or TP or something. It's gonna be really awkward for him, and then that slow effect is gonna be quite strong. I do make him oh man, if I could have blocked him a little better there. He hits the Moonwell. Now he's at, plenty of mana and stuff. I'm going to chase these archers a turn. I do have a boots. I actually put the boots on the alchemist, because the blade master naturally has pretty good movement speed. I'm going to kill an archer. Another archer pops out, which is going to be vulnerable for me to kill. But he has a Naga now, so this is quite dangerous. I have to be careful. I wind walk. I hit a dust on the way running, and I get the kill with the alchemist, and I'd split everything up, right? So he wasn't in position really to catch any of that stuff for kills, luckily. If he'd been a little bit of a better player, maybe he catches that grunt, but... Or if he had boots, he didn't have a boots on his demon hunter, right? So this is sort of the strength of the boots in the early game. It comes at quite a cost, though, for 250 gold, but the boots is going to prove quite useful for me in various points of the game. Actually, since I switched to the alchemist, it's actually going to hurt me that I put that on alchemist, I think, instead of the blade master at a couple of points, but he's going to get a really fortunate item drop with the cloak, which allows him to go in the middle of my base in the daytime and hide Shadow Melt. So he's going to want to go for this grunt kill. I was about to click to deny it with the burrow, but I missed it. But he's going to get a little bit over anxious in my base. So every time he pops out of Shadow Melt, I'm going to turn around and smack him. I know he wants to run out of my base. I'm going to shift a potion. I think I have a potion on the Blade Master yet. So I'm just going to lure him in here. This base build is pretty good for this situation, right? He doesn't really want to go for the burrows, even though they're sort of, not upgraded. Boom, that alchemist hits hard. I don't know. It'd be nice to see the damage numbers just on auto attacks, just to know. But he's got a pretty big range. This is level 2, right? But it was like 28 to 55 or something like that. So his range of damage is big, kind of like the Blade Master. Now this is where I'm getting like, uh-oh, I don't have a boots. He doesn't have a boots either, but he does have that frost arrow. So I'm like, oh geez, this is getting quite annoying. But thankfully, he doesn't have a boots of speed. So even though I didn't put the boots back on my Blade Master, he's not able to really run me down. So just get away from the Nagas is the name of the game there. So now I'm like, okay, his base is quite quite well built, in fact, in terms of keeping out, stuff like a Raider Harass. I guess this would be the target in a Raider Harass, right? This would be the weak point. But I'm not actually going to go Raiders. I'm going to go double Tauren Totems. Let's take a look. And he did, in fact, see that I went double Tauren Totems. So he has plenty of time, actually. But he's went double Lore. So he's pretty much committed himself to a Lore tech instead of just hard teching into Chimera. Which would have, Chimera would leave me in quite a pickle, so to speak, because I don't even have one bestiary. I don't even have any headhunters right now. So, but the Alchemist hits air without an orb, which is really nice, and the Blade Master, picking up an orb is going to hit air as well. So, so one or two Chimera won't really be, and the Spirit Walkers as well. It won't be the end of the, sort of the end of the story. Like, oh, he's got one or two Chimeras, you can't fight him, right? I can sort of go at them with the heroes, right? Which seems a little bit unusual, but it is what it is. Kind of like when Orc against Undead sometimes, when you'll try to snipe some destroyers or something like that. So, but anyways, he's going to leave a Wisp here. He's going to be just sneaking in a couple of creep camps here and there. Now that I have Tauren, it's kind of like him when he starts getting out these Druids of the Claw, right? He's going to be able to creep quite aggressively. Right. Now he needs the mastery level, so I'm very far ahead of him in tech speed. Right, which makes sense because he did build a few archers in the early game. But I've only built one grunt. So, anyways, I'm going to be running here. I don't know if I actually saw this Wisp or if he saw me. But yeah, he's going to go grab some items. He's going to run right at me. This is quite annoying for me because I wasn't really expecting him to show up here.
Your building has awakened.
And the timing, so my position was all wonky. I need these Spear Walkers in the back, right? Because any mana burn is going to really hurt. Level 2 mana burn. Brutal. But anyways, he killed a Dryad. The other thing is, like I said, the micro and stuff was just, the boots of agility, actually decent, not really. It's plus 6 damage and plus 12, every point of agility, I think is 2% attack speed. So it gives me a little bit of armor, it gives me plus 6 damage, and it's like having sort of like a claws plus 6, and then like almost like a gloves of haste. Not quite, but almost. Not to mention a little bit of armor. I'm going to go for that Dryad. So he doesn't have any Dryads, thankfully, which is actually going to be super important for this situation. Now, if I micro this better, I probably just destroy him right here. But I end up, like I said, I'd taken a ton of damage on the Blade Master instead of basically everything else. I don't know if I started that battle with Spirit Link or if he misspelled it or what the deal was, but he's going to be very close. He does have a Boots now, and he does have a Circlet as well. And we're both level 3, so he's going to be able to chase me and tag me a couple of times. Boom, he hits me with a Mana Burn. I pick up an Invisibility Potion. The Mana Burn is not, it hit me for 30, but, it didn't really that much damage. And I don't have any mana, but look. Invisibility. But look at this Sentry Ward. He has 1 charge of Sentry Wards. And I did in fact know that. I did see that. At some point I looked at his inventory. And so I knew. So I was like, oh my gosh, he could definitely get a Sentry Ward. So I doubled back. I don't know if this makes a difference. Probably. Oh my gosh, did he see me? I don't know where the vision runs out. Oh, there's where the vision runs out. If he could have attacked me with the Naga, probably definite chance that he kills me. I don't know. What's the damage reduction here? I'm on 7 armor, 32%. Would have been interesting. Would have been interesting with that Frost Arrow. Oof. Definite chances there to hit me and kill me. Yeah, if he does the max, or if he does the upper end of his damage, even if he has 28, like a third of that is, or sorry, what is it, 34% reduction. Almost a third, cutting a third off of 28. Gonna bring it down to 19, so it pretty much puts me right there, right? So, oof. Yeah, even at the low end, he probably, with Frost Arrow, he probably actually one-shots me there. Oh no, Spirit Link saves it. Spirit Link is gonna reduce half, is gonna cut the damage in half. So it definitely actually would not have killed me, but it would have probably done like half my health, right? But now he doesn't have any more reveal. because that's essentially where it is stationary, so it wasn't like a dust where you could track me a little bit. So anyways, I'm running. I could have possibly just crept this while I'm standing here. I'm running around, but that was bold. I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't really feel super confident at this point. But in hindsight, I mean, I can revive. I have master level these walkers. I can revive if anything dies. They've got 600 mana, 300 mana, 200. It's 250 to revive. So, so we got quite a bit of revive. At least 3 shots, I think, of it, and almost a 4th shot. But I pull back. I see his here. I'm like, and then these level 2 mana burns are really irritating. It's gonna actually be quite strong on these spirit walkers. Yeah, he's gonna hit this one so close to death. I give it a healing salve. While it's in ethereal mode, I would assume it heals faster in ethereal mode, but I'm not 100% sure from the salves. So yeah, but anyways, my Blade Master is going to be at the fountain heal. I've healed him at the fountain a bit and called it right. Units. This is like one of the last camps remaining. That's well, this one and this one. And well, actually, I take it back. There's plenty of camps remaining, but yeah, they're starting to dwindle. Right, there's basically the mid, and there's this fountain, and I guess top left. Okay, so there's quite a lot. I'm sort of off of my timeline here. There's a lot of camps left. Yeah, I'm gonna creep this. You can do it really quick with this army. A couple of 1 or 2 spear links, but you're a really good spear link honestly to do it because the Torn are just so tanky. And Blade Master here. He's gonna do this. He's gonna play quite an annoying style, which actually turns out to be effective somewhat on my base build. In hindsight, if I build my base more, I blocked off a lot of the area, but this area is sort of open for like bears and demon hunter, blah blah blah. This area also pretty much open for bears and demon hunter. So he is going to try to nuke down my fortress as I'm going into his base. There's no expo here. I ran by to check it, no expo, so I'm going to go into his main base. I'm like, you know what, I've got Tauren, I've got master level. If we fight on open ground, I should smack him. And he shows up in the base, and I'm like, okay, I'm attacking a Moonwell. I can for sure kill this Moonwell, but the problem is, I can't. I think he beats me just attacking. Like, I'm at 60 food. He's at 57. The food counts are close. He's got Roar, and he's hitting the Town Hall. I can't afford to, or he's hitting the Fortress. I can't afford to lose the Fortress, of course. He has a ton of health, but like I said, I don't want to lose it. So I destroyed this Moonwell. I actually did not have a town portal, so I was like, oh, geez. I have to come up here. I sell the Boots of Quel'Thalas, which kind of sucks because it's a pretty decent item on the Blade Master, to pick up a town portal, because I actually didn't have the gold without doing that. I could have sold something else, I guess. I don't know if I feel like the Greater Heal Potion is a little bit more valuable than the Boots, because if I get low health, then the Boots, I'm going to have to be running, so the Boots aren't really giving me that much benefit. But I don't know. Maybe if I sell the Circlet, I don't have enough gold. So it's like, I don't know. But anyways, that's what I did. I'm going to go ahead and TP with the army running up, and he's going to TP out himself. So he didn't kill it. I think he maybe killed one peon there. So we both TP'd. He had to buy a Zeppelin to do that. I mean, he actually didn't have to, but he did buy a Zeppelin to get there quicker, arguably. So that's pretty good. He didn't want to get caught on open ground. So now this is going to be a problem, not having a bestiary and the potential to just make one Bat Rider, right? Because if I have one Bat Rider roaming around, he can't go over the trees with the Zeppelin, or he can, but he really has to be. He's taking a big risk going over trees with the Zeppelin. If he's on open ground and I find him with the bat, boom! I explode it. His army falls out slow. So he doesn't want to get into that situation. He's made a Chimera Roost now. So it looks like his sort of Hail Mary, not exactly Hail Mary, but his attempt to counter what my strategy is. He wants to throw 1 or 2 Chimeras at me as well. I started to send those. I think I started to send those down there when he landed, like a little bit before he landed. Somehow I pulled him back, I guess, and I must have burrowed, and I don't know. They seemed like they went back to my base. I don't know. So I'm going to come creep this camp. In the meantime, he's flying back over. So this gives me time to creep another camp. Right, I'm getting a big advantage in terms of the creeps. Right, I've done a lot more creeping than him at this point. I've done this fountain. Mostly, I haven't finished it apparently, but I did this fountain. I did this. No. We're under attack. This Goblin lab. He did his lab. I'm gonna do this. So I'm ahead by basically 2 fountains worth of experience, I think, in gold. So he's going to pick up his army and fly away. The Blade Master's coming in. Like I said, if I have a bat here, he cannot do what he's about to do. Right? He wouldn't do it. He'd just fly downwards, probably. I don't know if he has a town portal or not, but he probably does. So he's just buying time, right? He just needs to get a Chimera out. I'm at 61 food. He is at 57. We're both in the same upkeep level, so that's pretty good. I build these towers. I don't know if this is necessarily a great idea. Maybe the play is just to YOLO it and wait for the gold for a tiny Great Hall. But obviously I'm nowhere near that amount of gold, I don't think. Yeah, if I don't build these towers, I'm probably at like 400 gold, so I don't know. I guess waiting for the tiny Great Hall might have been the move. But I'm going to come creep this. I don't want him to just drop the bears and like destroy the town hall or the tiny Great Hall or whatever, so. But yeah, maybe you just have to risk it, knowing that he's going to struggle fighting me heads up without the Chimera. But the other thing is, I have seen that he had a roost, right? So now I'm like, okay, I built a couple of headhunters, 4 of them right now, and I have the spearwalkers and I have an orb, but I don't exactly want to rely on having positioning with those things in the face of all these bears, right? Bears are going to just shred the headhunters, right? They're not even berserkers yet, they're headhunters. So I'm like, okay, maybe I have to play this conservatively. I don't see him with an expo. I build a tower here. Like, if I don't want to get in a spot where I sort of expend, I already spent like 210 gold or whatever for these towers. I don't want to get in a spot where I spend, like just enough resources to leave me with a army not quite strong enough to fight him, and then have him just run all over the map. I run down to his base. I don't have a staff of teleportation, which I want to go into his base, try to snipe some of this stuff, and then teleport out. Right? He doesn't have a keeper for entangle. So he doesn't have a good way to counter this. He has his, where is his Zeppelin? I have no idea where he's put his Zeppelin. Oh, here it is, okay. Here's a Zeppelin full of stuff. It's going to be annoying. He's going to get to kill these towers, which is going to leave his heroes. Oh man, it's going to level his noggin to 3 just from the peon. That's gross. But I did kill that Zeppelin. Sadly, it died right before it went totally over the trees. A bear lands and so it dies. So there's a bear in there. Drew the claw, bear form. I almost catch the Chimera, but he notices or something. He goes back to his base. And I'm like, okay, let me go for these rides. I don't really have a bunch of damage items. I just have the orb that I bought. I don't have like a bunch of big claws or something, or gloves of haste. He manages to heal this at the last second. Oh my gosh, it must have like 1 health right there or something. It's stupid. I thought it was dead. It survived. He heals it. Gross, just gross. All that effort, and I just drained him pretty well. But I did force him to detonate a bunch of the list. And now I'm just going to staff away, because even if his army was there, it could be annoying. But he can't entangle me out of the staff, because he doesn't have a keeper. So now if he would have surprised me with a keeper there, that would have been total disaster, because I'm going to just be stuck. I have a Great Heal Potion, but I don't have the mana to Windwalk away, so that'd be GG. But he didn't. He's going to build an Ancient Protector here. I think, yeah, he sees the tower, so he's going to probably assume that can eat a tree, attack, come back, eat a tree, Can actually kill that with just the tower itself if he's patient, right? I don't defend it or whatever. But anyways, at this point, there's not a lot of creeping left to do. There's like a camp here, a little one over here. There's a level 4 Troll Berserker. It's not nothing, but now here's going to be sort of an irritating thing that happens. He's in a way better position because the cooldown on the staff, I've got just under 30 seconds, 27 seconds before I can staff back to my base. And I think I'm going to struggle with this fight if my Blade Master isn't here, because of the, he actually has 2 Chimera. Now I have almost, I thought I got the 3rd armor upgrade, maybe I didn't, but these are O2 Tauren, which is pretty nice with the Master level upgrade on the Walkers. The armor upgrade also applies to the Headhunters, so they're going to be O2 as well. And then these bats, also, the bats are going to get the bonus armor. So, but the Blade Master is going to be completely out of position. He shows up right now, like you know, like I said, I've got 27 seconds before I can get back to my base. I'm just like, ugh, I got this bat. I'm like, okay, bat, go do your job. Sutherland, boom. 2 bats to kill him because he doesn't have any armor upgrades on the Chimera. Kill one of his Chimera. So I'm going to reposition. Not great, but the Torn are at least in the front. So now I'm like, okay, let me staff him. With the Blade Master in the back near the shop, he is sort of, and he's going to immediately focus his Chimera. He's going to land a Purge. No, he didn't. I Windwalked. I'm sad if I land a Purge right there. It's going to be way better. I'll Windwalk and get away with the Bear. Have an Invul Potion. I should have popped that before he hits me with a Mana Burn. That's really painful, but it is what it is. I'm going to go Blade Master on the Chimera. Windwalk sort of messes up his targeting. The Alchemist, the Walkers, isn't the most clean execution for sure. And I have an extra Chimera. He doesn't have. I should put the Chimera. Or sorry, I have the extra bat. I should put the bat on the Dryads. I need to be a little bit more cautious, right? The Blade Master's just out like a meatball, but he has, you know, a great heal potion. I don't really. That's what I was saying. I have Spear Link. You know, it feels like I'm in a dominant position, and I am. I should just go on the demon. Like, he has an Invul Potion, but you know, it is what it is. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just basically sort of attack moving. This is his Hail Mary. The only thing he can hope to do here. And I should just turn around and snipe his DH. I didn't realize he was so low. I saw the Naga, and I thought he'd use his Invul, but, I mean, he did, but it wore off. He has a TP, but I have way more health, and it's just turn around. This is a terrible mistake. And I see that I'm getting low, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I was looking at. I thought his hero was like half health or something. So I'm like, okay, I'm close enough to this shop. I'm gonna grab a heal potion. I buy a heal potion and I buy an invisibility potion and 2 heal scrolls. The problem with this plan is I've already used a heal scroll, and the cooldown is going to apply to these ones that I buy, which I was not. 2 things. I wasn't really counting on that to happen. And I try to use this invisibility potion, and it just doesn't quite go. Let me see if I use it. Actually, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I used it. It's just he had that split second of like one more swing. From the Bear, the Naga. The Demon Hunter got one more swing. Oh, the Naga, the Bear? Oh my gosh, dude, they're literally one more swing. He loses the Naga though. But after spending 600 gold on all those items, I don't have the Tiny Great Hall. I forgot to get these peons out of the burrows, so they're in the burrows for like, I don't know, you know. I'm 500 gold behind them now because of that. Because of the other points where I was, you know, repairing. So I haven't mined this completely out. I'll get it eventually, but right now is when I need that gold, right? I forgot what it was, like 320 or something to get this hero back, I think, or something like that. So 340, I don't know what it was, but it was a lot, right? It's a level 5 hero. And that gave him a ton of experience as well, right? I think it leveled his Demon Hunter. Such a blow. Like, instead of, like, me just, you know, going to the fountain, healing up completely with the level 5 Blade Master and just walking this game. I mean, I walk it anyway, but I have to basically, I don't have to do it without the Blade Master, but I basically go in here without the Blade Master. And he's making 2 Chimera, so. But yeah, this army is pretty fierce. Like, he's gonna have no way really to kill these Torn without a Chimera. So I mean, an Alchemist is level 5 as well. The Alchemist is 5, the Blade Master's 5. You know, the Blade Master's not here, but his Naga isn't here either. So, Spirit Link and stuff, no way. The damage spread is gonna be crazy. So yeah, that was a pretty funny game. I thought it was. I was really irritated to lose that hero, of course, but yeah, there was earlier points in the game where like I killed his Demon Hunter where he had a TP in my base, where like moved and then he shadow melted, but I just got the last hit because the Alchemist hits really hard. Probably he didn't expect it. And then when I was running away and he like dropped a Sentry Ward here, and I like just barely like, you know, sort of went back, doubled back around and avoided like, you know, a disaster. And then other, you know, I was able to add the foresight or the, you know, reaction to go ahead and sell the boots, get a TP and TP back to my base. I don't, like I said, the problem with it is if I was going to try to base race him, he's got Roar, pulverizes a lot of the damage from the Tauren, and it just doesn't affect buildings, right? Like all of his damage from his bears are going straight into the attacks, right? It's going to hit the building, right? And I wasn't, his base was sort of cramped up, clustered up, sort of walled off. I couldn't get the Tauren around to attack his Tree of Eternity, right? So my whole army wasn't attacking his Tree of Eternity. And the other thing is, I probably had about 12. It looks like I have about 12 Food of Spearwalkers, which, I think he only had about 8 Food of Dryads. So, though 8 food versus 12 food, that doesn't sound like very much, but the difference. So, probably really wasn't, but mostly it's from Pulverize, right? So much damage comes from Pulverize, and it just doesn't hit buildings, right? Would it be overpowered if it did? Maybe. I don't know. It'd definitely be a huge buff, but yeah, as it is in terms of a base race unit compared to bears, the Tauren just don't do it, right? Between Roar and, like I said, just the raw damage of the bears, and being able to just my base build, right, leaving these openings, and him having a Zeppelin, right. Even if there's not openings, he could find ways with a Zeppelin to get in there probably. But anyways, that's gonna be the end of this audio, or sorry, replay at least.
Our gold mine has collapsed.
And yeah, we'll take a look at the resources. He outmined me just bare the net, right? The net gold. Actually, I got hit with more upkeep. That's kind of weird. Well, he was 50 ahead of me. Yeah, it's pretty close, right, to the difference, right? Upkeep hit me for about 50 gold more, and then he mined about, 448, close to 50 gold more than me. Net, right? So, tech percentages are pretty close. I had 3 hero kills. He had 1. Let's see. Building kills. Experience gain was massively different. That's from the creeping. I crept every single red, all 3 of them. So that was huge. And then I got the rest of the camps. I basically split, right? I got like my sort of natural. I got my lab. He got his natural. His lab. The other point there is his mind ran out. I don't know if he had Nature's Blessing or not, but like at that timing, right? You need to be aware of that timing because Elf gets to walk their tree for free, and if they have Nature's Blessing, it's going to go even quicker. The armor's going to be great. It's going to be a Tree of Eternity, so it's kind of in a lot of cases, or a Tree of Ages if they've tagged it all. So it's going to be quite difficult to actually put that thing down with certain kinds of armies, right? Especially if his army is there, which again, if that's like his all of his economy potentially, he will definitely be there to defend it. So whereas Orc, what can Orc, human, undead can like unsummon. Human and Orc can long distance mine, but that's pretty inefficient, right? You'd rather walk the tree once, especially with Nature's Blessing. If it doesn't have Nature's Blessing, it is very slow to walk. But once you get there, that's it. The cost is already sort of paid, and now the tree is there. If the mine gets entangled, it's really hard to dislodge. What I could have been doing throughout that game is probably just attacking, maybe trying to attack his entangled gold mine, his main base. Like going for the wisp and then going for the gold mine, but it doesn't take a lot to knock that entangled gold mine out. But he was clever enough to leave 4 dryads behind, and then a chimera popped out. So it's like, okay, he has a lot of damage left in his main base. It's not just I'm not getting free attacks, right? Like on his building. If his army wasn't there, or if it was like 1 or 2 dryads, right? No chimera. Then yeah, I can sit there and eat that, damage a lot, especially if I have Spirit Link. Like, the damage is going to be, near negligible, right? But once you add a Chimera into the mix, once you, 4 Dryads, and, and he was in position, he kept getting in position, I was going to push his base, he's in position to hit my base, I go back to, I windwalk into his base, get some kills, staff out, windwalk back across, boom, there he is in position, right? As I'm going into his base, he's coming into my base with his full army. So I'm in a really awkward position. Honestly, was really not sure I was going to be able to pull that off. Like, I think if he just pulls back and doesn't come into that fight, it's a much different game. It's a much harder game because if he just waits, like if he sort of if he stalls for like another 3 minutes, then it comes to that point where he can walk his tree. He finishes mining faster than me actually because of the way the game played out, and because I pulled peons to repair the fortress. Um, he finishes first. He gets to walk his tree, and I don't get to walk anything, right? So yeah, if he delays, I can tiny great hall and blah blah blah. But he doesn't have to spend any gold to get his expo. He just has to walk, right? So yeah, there may be that time frame where I actually maybe start mining faster than him, but I have to pay 600 gold to do that. If I slow build it, I don't really start mining faster than him, and he still didn't spend any gold to do it. Really, he just walked his tree in his wisps. So that's quite painful. The other part of that is the longer he delays, potentially the more moon juice that builds up for him. Like every time he goes to nightfall, um, his moon wells are regenerating, right? So that's kind of annoying. I didn't have heal spray. The only sustain I actually had was either, if you want to call revive, sustain, then okay, I think it's called ancestral recall. Have that, which is, I mean, it's pretty good when you can do it, but it's not exactly healing. And then I have the fountains, right? There's 2 fountains, so in some sense, we both had access potentially to sustain, as it were, but it's not as quick, right? And it's not just for me, but it is sort of, it's not. It's much harder to play that war of attrition if there are heal fountains, right? So there's a lot of games where I've thought back about it. I was like, certain strategies where you're like on that sort of edge of, okay, it's viable. It's just sort of barely viable. It's like a timing attack in certain kinds of playstyles. But you throw it a curveball, it's like, oh, there's a heal fountain on the map or something like that. And now all of a sudden it's like, well, your DPS, if they play sort of conservatively, or not even conservatively, but they play properly regarding the heal fountains, or, if there's multiple heal fountains, sometimes your strategy just doesn't work, right? You run out of mana, and then they heal, and it's like, well, you could heal. Some strategies you actually can't heal to heal fountain, like mechanical targets or certain mechanical units, like tanks, flying machines, demos, glaives. It sounds weird, like, well, why would you be massing that? Well, yeah, obviously in solo it's not exactly a thing, but some strategies, you mostly trolley strategies, right? That you will sort of, you will be going for sort of a mass mechanical army. Like, one 2v2 strat, my friend Jake do, one player masses demolishers, right? And we go like double TC with shockwave. So we're trying to really go really hard on the, sort of the burst damage. Like demos, that's weird. Well, yeah, demos against buildings, right? But sometimes against units too. But the problem is, you know, until you really get like and we also tech. So our early games really like just harassment mostly. And then it's like mid game we creep a little bit, and then we go to fighting them, right? Trying to maybe dive bases, you know, catch them, out of position with level 3 TCs, hit them with some big shockwaves, and do that stuff. Like I said, the problem is, if you have a little engagement, right, hit, especially before level 3, and or sometimes before level 5, right, the shockwave does a lot of damage, for sure, but you run out of mana. You'll run out of mana relatively quick, right? So it's like, if you don't get those kills, and then they go to hit a heal fountain, the heal fountain's not really benefiting your TC alone. I mean, it can, if you got sit there and a heal fountain, it's gonna heal you. But if you're doing, your damage is spread over a whole bunch of units, and it doesn't kill them, and he just sits in a heal fountain, he's getting a whole bunch of units worth of healing. Whereas if you got a one hero and mass demos, or just one hero, or one hero and 2 wind riders or something, you're just not really getting any, you're not really getting much out of it, right? And then they have, a lot of times the weakness of the TC strat is like heroes that are either single heroes that are very good at fighting other heroes, like maybe a demon hunter leveling up, you catch some mana, catch some level 2 or 3 mana burns on the TC, and now he's just a big grunt. He does he doesn't get to drop these great shockwaves because you just drain his mana. So it's like, oof. And then your ultimate is a little bit more proactive. You can play around the TC's ultimate by just not killing him, right? If you mana burn him out, you don't have to kill him, right? I mean, yeah, he's going to be sitting there hitting you over and over again, but if he's not throwing those shockwaves at you or landing big ones, then it's not really that problematic. So, and he's not gonna heads up. The Demon Hunter will out DPS him in a 1v1 generally. So if it just comes down to it, right, you actually could kill him, even if he has his ultimate, and then you can hit him with some mana burns, but you don't really have to, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, if you can go into meta, demon form and just like slaughter his whole army and keep his TC, under 90 mana, you're good. That's it. And then they have a TC with no mana trying to fight, level 5, 6, 7 Demon Hunter or whatever. So even if you don't have Metamorphosis, right, if you just keep his hero, below 90 mana, the TC's ultimate isn't really, I mean, they can kill their own hero, granted, but if you just you really don't focus him, like you make it a point not to get him anywhere near death, what are they going to do? Focus him from like 80% health to 0? It's gonna take way too much DPS. I mean, you can do that as like a mana potion type of deal. It's like, well, if I'm literally sitting in my base, well, yeah, maybe I really can sit there and focus him to death, right? But in the midst of battle, it's not going to be the saving grace. Unlike, Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis, like I said, is proactive. You're attacking into their base. Metamorphosis is great. You're defending your base. Metamorphosis. You're fighting them open ground. Metamorphosis, doom. And you start it, and the battle goes, and their ultimate is just, it's just, like I said, it doesn't really pop until their hero dies, right? So, it can have an effect, right? You don't want to focus the TC, but, I mean, unless the TC is like almost dead, which a lot of times he is almost dead. That's why the strategy is kind of interesting and fun, because a lot of times you'll be level 5 relatively quick as with solo heroes, and then they'll be hitting you, and then you're diving in, and you're doing this harass, and then boom, you hit level 6, and it's like, oh my gosh, they almost killed you. They almost killed your hero, and they wanted to, and he's like out of mana probably, and then boom, now they can't really kill him, and he can sit in there and keep attacking. Now, especially if there's not a Demon Hunter, if he still has mana to roll with, it's like, oh my gosh, I want to kill him before he gets that extra shockwave off, but and you still may do that, right? Because it's one extra shockwave, but then he's gonna have full mana and full health, so it's like, probably just have to eat that last shockwave and just suck it up and whatever, maybe, but until you can for sure like kill him and then maybe catch him and kill him again or force a TP. So, but yeah, if there's a heal fountain, that early game, we're gonna shockwave and we're gonna, maybe try to get some damage on a hero and creep jack you or go for your bane or blah blah. Yeah, you're not gonna run your workers out to the heal fountain, but any units, right? They can just cycle in, right? They don't even need like, certain races, orc can use heal salves, and human can use regen scrolls, and undead can use sacrificial dagger, or death coil, or sit on blight, or cannibalize, I guess. But yeah, it's gonna mess the timing up. A lot of stuff is either gonna cost you gold, or it's gonna you have to sit there and eat corpses or whatever, or use mana from the Death Knight, right? And so yeah, it's like they're saving their units, which is important, right, and good, but it's also requiring them to not use death coils to creep, and slow down and deal with whatever's going on. So whereas if you're sitting there, it could mean the difference between actually losing multiple units on a just a 2 TC harass and not losing any units, right? Because all we're running around doing is shock waving, right? So until we get our units, it's actually quite difficult to really land like decisive blows and really take advantage of the game. So it's more of a trolley strategy, as I say, but yeah, it's sort of thrown all you know, it sort of throws everything out the window if there's a heal fountain that they can use, especially if they can use it without waking anything up, which again is the case on a lot of maps like Lost Temple. This map, this is a solo map though, but you know. But anyways, I thought the game was pretty good. It was quite close. If I dropped that Blade Master on his side of the map early, probably is a totally different game. Some item drops. I got a greater heal potion. I got a boost of Quel'Thalas. Pretty solid items. I'm trying to think what else I got. I think did I get a Sobi mask? Ring of protection. He got somebody got Commandor. Wait, what did I get them from the middle of the map? Yeah, that's really wild. I don't remember that. I just want to fast forward to see.
Our warriors have engaged growth is being desecrated. Your building is our champion has fallen. Great outdoors.
Research complete. Work complete. Research complete.
Okay, I got Warsong Battle Drums there. So, Talisman Invasion. I think I ended up selling that item, actually. I don't know if I should have. Probably, maybe not, actually. I mean, that Alchemist just being able to tank even more is great. This Sobi Mask. The mana. He's got with Mana Burn, I mean, I don't know. It didn't feel really good selling his items. I think I sold him in low upkeep. Maybe that's why it felt like I was selling big items. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting the gold that I want. So yeah, these towers up. Oh, losing a hero after you buy 2 heal potions and an invisibility potion. Like a level, I think it was level 5. Oh my god, dude, that is rough. It's like a 600. I guess if you count the hero himself, it's probably like a near 1,000 gold just sink, right? But you don't really get anything out of until you get the hero back, I guess. When you get the hero back, you do get the potentially heal scrolls, but which is a nice bonus. But you got to get the hero back. so yeah. But anyways, that's gonna be the end of this audio. Pretty nice invul potions. Like I said, great heal potions, good drop. Command Aura, good drop. So yeah, unit kills hugely in my favor. A lot of these are wisps. A lot of these are creeps. Or just army. He actually got to a bigger army than me, which is wild considering how close the gold counts were. I feel like I had more upgrades than him, but 24 tech percent compared to 21 isn't all that massive. So yeah, I'm trying to think. 74. Yeah, it's just I mean, he's like a full at his highest point. He was at like full 10 food out of me. I don't really know when that was. I feel like it was the last battle that we really fought. I assume that had to be it. 10 food. What's 10 food in terms of resources? Maybe it's made up for by the like 500 gold or whatever that was. He mined more than me. Like, well, in his gold mine, when he finished, I think I still had like 500 something gold left. So, but then you apply upkeep. Yeah, I feel like I don't know, it's just crazy. It's kind of surprising, right? I guess I did build some towers. Buildings wise, I probably built more. Yeah, 19 compared to 17. Items. Yeah, wow, 41 items. That looks crazy. Like, I know I creeped a ton, and I'm buying salves and stuff, but does every charge of a heal salve count as an item? Clarities. It's just like that's like more than double. It's like nearly 3 times as much. So yeah, there's probably the difference right there. Like, but But yeah, anyways, that's going to be the end of this audio. ScryMind signing out.